welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Christian.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Welcome to Things I've Learned, where we talk to fellow Latinos and see what they've learned.
We're gonna need to add like a little intro, like a jingle or something.
That's what we've been trying to figure out. We'll get there.
Okay.
So Christian and I used to work together, and we were really good friends. He was my work BFF.
We're tight. I think we started like almost the same time, but I think we'd always fight about it. We're like, no, it's like, well, technically I started in March, my first day. And you're like,
that's true. So if you could give a background of who you are, what you do, and your ethnicity.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, my background, I'm 26, right? I'm a 26-year-old.
You know more than I do.
I sometimes like question myself, like, am I really that old? Like,
yeah.
No, I'm a 26-year-old Mexican American, I guess. You know, a lot of people call us chicano because I was born here in the States, and my parents are both Mexican, so we get that title. Yeah, I was born in California, raised up here in Utah most of my life. Ethnicity was that Hispanic, Latino, and
are you first generation?
Yeah, first gen.
Cool, same. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know you're currently in school. What are you studying, and what are you currently working in?
So right now I'm studying, I'm majoring in financial planning and I'm minoring in accounting. And right now I work at Costa Vida's accounting department, which has been really nice to get my foot in the door and learn as much as I can about the accounting part of things.
That's awesome.
So it's been really nice.
So what exactly is your like day-to-day? I literally worked with you for over a year, and I don't think I know what your day-to-day is.
Well, it's I do a lot of I'm a mix between accounts payable and accounts receivable. I either pay bills or I get people to pay us. Okay. And on top of that, I make sure that our sales align with our accounting system sales match with what our POS system sales say.
Okay. Thank you for dumbing that down for me, because I was like, what does that mean?
Oh, no, it's all good. People always ask, like, what exactly do you do here, Christian?
Yeah.
Well.
Cool. So how did you end up in specifically your position right now, and like what drew you to that?
Well, actually, it's funny. So I've been with this company for almost 9 years. It's been crazy. 9 years in October, the 25th of October, it'll be 9 years.
That is wild.
Yeah, I started off actually so my parents were like, hey, you need a good job. You're 17. I was like, okay. And they got me, my dad's friend worked at Costa Vida in American Fork. And he kind of got me the job, basically. He got me an interview, started there as just a normal line worker.
And before you go on, just in case people don't know, what is Costa Vida?
Costa Vida is a Mexican-American food chain. I guess it's a chain in the sense that like we have franchisees and whatnot. We have there's 32, I believe, corporate locations. It's your normal. It's like it's almost like Chipotle for those who don't know Chipotle. And if you don't know Chipotle, it's like, I don't want to mention the other.
Yeah, we won't mention the other.
Okay, good. Yeah, but it's almost like Chipotle. I'd say it's like a fast casual more, it's more fast casual. You can go in, you can dine in. It's pretty nice inside. It's just got good vibes.
All good vibes.
All good vibes.
Okay. So you started working at the restaurant.
Yeah, I started working at the restaurant. I actually started up in the main line area where people are you're asking them what they want to order, and you just start making them. I did that for about a year, and then I got promoted to a shift lead. And then from there, a year later, I was asked if I wanted to be an assistant, but with school going on, I was just like, you know what, I don't think I can handle it. Found out that I was already doing most of the assistant manager stuff like a few months later. And I was just like, you know what, if I get more money and I'm doing the same thing, might as well.
Yeah, of course.
And then I think like at 2 years and something, I was an AGM. And then about how long ago, in the summer of 2017, I actually got my own store. So I became a general manager. I was running the U-Mall location, which actually got that year, there was only, I believe there was 4 locations that got a gold standard out of every location in Costa Vida, franchise or corporate. And my store was one of the 4 who got a
I did
gold
not know
standard.
that.
Yeah, I have my own award. I have actually in my back in my office.
That's awesome.
Man,
That's like
and then
that's a lot. That's a lot.
yeah, and it's been it's always been full-time school, full-time work. It's just I'm a busy person, you know.
Mhm.
And then well, from there I went to PG for a little bit, the store in Pleasant Grove,
Mhm.
and that's where my now boss actually was talking to me about coming over to the accounting side because they had a spot opening up. And the
Mhm.
funny thing is, like a year, like 2 years before that, he had offered me that same position, but it would have only been temporary for like a few
Mhm.
months until they got someone situated there.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it, you know, because I wanted something more permanent, you know, so I stuck with
Yeah, of course.
what I had. But my boss just stopped by the line. We had that casual talk, and he's like, "Yeah, just come talk to me." I came to talk to him. We talked for a bit, and he's like, "Yeah, well, if you want to come join the accounting team, we'd be happy to have you."
Mm.
And talk to my general manager, talk to my district manager, talk to talk to them all, make sure everything's all good. That way,
Yeah.
we don't leave the store on its own and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then in April of 2018, April 30th was like my first official day here.
Mm.
And it's
That's awesome.
it's been crazy. And my boss knew that I was interested in accounting, and I believe that's why he gave me the shot. He wanted, not only did he think that I could help them out accounting wise, but he thought I'd be a good fit because I know a lot of the store background.
Mhm. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That's awesome. So this whole time that you've been working for Costa Vida, you said you've been going to school as well as working. Is that so you can pay all of your schooling so you're not in any debt?
Yes, actually, I've done my best and I've achieved not taking these student loans just because I don't like being in debt. Like I don't
Mhm.
consider financing a car in debt because you use it to get to
Yeah, of
places,
course. Yeah.
But I just don't want to be in that student loan debt that everyone worries about. I just
Me.
pay my pay my school and then just go with it. Save up as much as I can. What I like about my school is if you put a down payment, you can pay like whatever you owe, you pay down within 3 months and you're good.
Oh, wow.
That's been really nice. Yeah.
Nice. How did you know? I mean, aside from like obviously an awesome opportunity that your boss was able to give you, how did you know that that's kind of the trajectory you were wanting, like to go into
Like, how did I
accounting
know I
or
wanted?
finance? Yeah.
So, I guess it's two different views. So finance, I was very undecided with what I wanted to do. I kept on changing majors all the time. And then one time I started thinking after I'd gone into like a career fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this person talking about financial planning, about helping others, manage their money and all these other things. And I was just like, you know what? That actually sounds like a really cool job. I'd like to be able to help people finance their way through like, retirement or helping them out with like their grandchildren's school or anything, seeing what I can do to help them. Cause I don't want anyone to be in a spot where like they're worrying about money. They don't know what to do with money and they just need help. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And so when we talked to him, the guy at the career fair talked to me about that, I was just like, you know what, this is actually sounds really interesting to me,
Mm-hmm.
like actually, this actually sounds like something I want to do. I like helping people, and if I can help them manage their money, it's something that, I'd like to do
Mm-hmm.
my best at. And then accounting actually. So at the store level, we actually do, I don't want to say much accounting, but we were to like input invoices and all these other things. And I always wondered, it's like, what does the other side look like? Like I
Mm-hmm.
put this in, but what's the back part of it, right?
Yeah.
And well, I was the one managing most of when I was at AGM, I was managing all the paperwork done back end for our store.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something I was pretty good at. Like I understood some of the things, and then slowly, like I would always, if I had a question, I'd go to the controller, which is my boss, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I either email him or walk to his office if I had a question about how to do something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'd explain it to me easy. And it's fine. It wasn't until I had to take an accounting class. I actually had to take an accounting class
Mm-hmm.
for a prerequisite, right? That's what
Yeah.
it's called.
Yeah.
So I'd take a couple accounting classes, and I was like, hey, this is actually pretty interesting. And I started, once I took those classes, I started seeing myself like in our system that we do as a store manager. I was like, okay, this makes sense. Oh yeah, I know why that goes there and why this is going on. And then I actually emailed my boss one time, my now boss, while I was still at the store. I asked him, I was like, hey, so I have this question as one of my on my homework. So it's like, how do I solve this? And, you know, he went in, he explained it to me. And I think that's when he was just like, okay, I think this kid's like taking like accounting classes or something. I think that's what like made him like, you know, like kind of keep an eye on me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's also really awesome that you were able to take that initiative too, to like go that step further and like actually try to make that connection in a real world problem. That's cool. Is there much cultural diversity within your team? Is there, I guess, throughout your career, have you been like the only Latino? Like, how has that looked and how has that kind of shaped?
In my department, just in the accounting department, I'm the only Latino. Everyone else is, I want to say, you know, American. But I don't know how to answer this question. Like, like it's hard, like trying to think about it. But
yeah,
you know, yeah. I mean, I'm the only Latino in there, but I'd
how
say
has that impacted you, like being the only Latino? I mean, I know for like a lot of times for me, I've been the only Latina in a lot of different teams.
Oh, really?
So yeah, just how has that impacted you?
So I think I think I know what you mean. Like I wouldn't say it's a culture shock. It's more of like a, you know, like I come from a Hispanic background, so I have a way of talking or doing things or something, you know?
Yeah.
And then since I'm the only one, sometimes it's just like, people will, I don't think I think they question like, so why does he talk like that? Or why does he do stuff like that? You know, it's just a part of who I am, you know, it's how I do things. It's like, I'm very expressive with my hands because, that's just, you know,
yeah,
exactly.
Passion. Do you happen to use your Spanish a lot in your career right now?
Sometimes actually I do. Sometimes we have people who call in asking, not even maybe about accounting things, but sometimes I might be the only Spanish person here, and it's just like, okay, well, Christian will help you out, or a store will send someone who speaks Spanish here, and they're like, and then they tell them to go look for me. So then they find me, and then I direct them to who can actually help them. And I either sit there as like a translator or just, you know, kind of, if the other person speaks some Spanish, I tell them, and then they take care of them.
That's cool though. Yeah, that happens to me a lot too.
Right.
So as far as kind of longevity in this career, do you think this is going to be like a forever career? Do you think you could grow? Well, I guess since you're studying finance, it's going to be a little bit different. But where do you see yourself? Like, how does your role now kind of play into your role
like
maybe later? Yeah.
So I thought about this, you know, coming in, at first I was like, hey, maybe I want to just stick with accounting, you know, and, you know, just see where this part of my career goes.
Yeah.
But the more financial classes I've been taking, it's like, no, I want to keep doing this. Costa Vida, as much as I love it, it's just like, you know, helping me understand not accounting, but it's just helping me until I can reach that new position.
Yeah.
And I don't think Costa they have a finance team, but it's not the type of finance that I want. It's not financial planning.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I know at one point I'll have to, you know, like say my goodbyes from here, just because sometimes you just need to move on and try something new, you know? And if I'm majoring in financial planning, it's what I want to do.
Yeah. How much longer do you have?
So with
that's
this semester that what's that?
I'm like, I'm giving you hard questions.
Oh no, it's all good. Like I'm thinking, it's like how many? I think if I remember right on my tracker, I'm 80% done with my school.
That's awesome.
And depending on how many classes I end up taking on, either 5 or 6 classes, I can finish hopefully by fall of 2021. That's if everything falls into place. If not, then it'd be spring 2022, which, you know, it's still not bad, but like.
Yeah. And then from there, would you want to go to like financial planning firm? Like.
Yeah. So I don't think I'd want to start my own business yet. You know, I know I have to take one of my classes, I have to do a internship, and I'd like, depending on how that internship goes, either if they, you know, really like me, then maybe they offer me something, or I just keep going around. I want to start networking too. I know the financial department in our financial planning department in my school has like they have a ballet, it's like a ball, not a ball. What would you call it? It's like a giant meeting with like all these financial planning firms and stuff that come in.
Okay.
And you get to meet them and everything, talk to them, hand them your business card. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And there's actually supposed to be one in April, but with COVID happening, they decided to cancel it, and
Yeah.
they rescheduled it till October. But with how things are still, I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'd like to, when that does happen, I'd like to, get in there and, get as much networking as I can, talk to as many people as I can, and see what goes on from there.
That's exciting. That's
Right.
like really soon. I didn't realize how soon that is.
Yeah. And so my last class, one of my last classes was a financial planning class, and it was our last project was like helping this lady, it's like schedule her. I think she was like in her 30s or something, or 40s, and schedule her like next 25 years, and that included like retirement, 401k. Getting her kids through college, all the things, and it was just like one gigantic project. It was really fun.
I'm glad you think that's fun.
Honestly, numbers to me are I like numbers. Yeah. I think that's also why I like accounting. Like I tend to memorize like numbers really easy, but I can't remember names. That's one thing I can't do.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm horrible.
You forgot my name so many times.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Okay, so as far as your position now, do you think your schooling has helped your position now?
Yes, actually, like it's helped me understand a lot of what I'm doing. Like with if you would have shown me a journal entry like a couple years ago, I'd have been like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. But then with understanding it from school, like I now know what's going on, and not just school, but even coming from the store, I was actually able to see, both sides. Like I look at this, I was like, okay, so that's why we do things here. And let's say a store manager calls and he asks the same question I would ask, I can actually answer him and like, hey, it's done like this because of this, and this.
Yeah. That's cool. So you have just a better understanding because you've worked on both sides.
Yeah. I've worked both sides and learned both sides,
That's really cool. So does your family know what you do? I know, when I talk to my family that I'm in marketing, they're like, I think they think some like random thing that I do, not actually what I do.
No, it's funny. So my family, they always ask, they're like, so what do you do? I was like, I'm un contador, I'm an accountant. And like, so it's like, do you always like count on your fingers or something? Mexicans tend to, joke all the time. So everything to them is a joke. So that's what they always do. I was like, no, Mom, I pay the lights. Basically, I tell her, I try to simple it down. It's like I pay the lights, make sure the restaurant's staying, and I ask people for money. And she's like, oh,
Yeah.
Like, I think they know what I am. They just don't know exactly what I do,
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you found in your classes and stuff, have there been other Latinos that you've seen? And if not, like, why do you think that might be?
I've seen a few, like a few here and there. None that I've talked to, just because it's when it comes to like an accounting class, like it's one where I have to focus, or like I know I'm not going to understand it. So it was like, I know there was like in one of my accounting classes, there's like maybe one more or two more other than me. And then out of like 40, 50 maybe. That's
crazy.
Yeah, actually I have a friend who's a Latina who actually she got her master's in accounting, not to like, I think last semester she finished her master's. Yeah, and I always talk to her every now and then. We always talk. She's it's funny because her role went from kind of accounting to now like HR. So I always find it funny. Yeah.
So why do you think there aren't as many Latinos in your industry?
I want to say it might have to do with, like there's so many careers out there. I feel like some might think it's like, oh, it's just numbers. Like that's boring. Like I think Latinos think like they want something like fun, interactive, and nobody wants to just sit at a desk and plug in numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everyone thinks that's fun. I think that might be one of the things. It's just it's something they might not look at. It's just something that's just like you're just there, like always at your desk, just looking at a screen, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whether there's some people who want to work with other people,
That's true. Yeah. I get the best of both worlds. I feel like I get to work with people, but I also get my alone time and sit at my desk.
Yeah, no, I'm usually just like at my desk, or if I have a question, I'll go, I'll go ask it to who I need to ask it, but most of the time it's just at your desk.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add for Latinos, maybe like looking to get into finance, looking to get into accounting?
One thing I'd highly recommend is I wouldn't, depending where you're working in, I wouldn't try to jump from job to job. I try to focus on, doing the best you can in this specific job, and then working your way up. And then if you're working for a corporate, maybe, occasionally ask questions to them about, like how I did, like, okay, well, I have a question about this. And then it kind of gets the corporate part of them asking like, hey, this person's actually interested in these things. Like maybe he's someone to look at, and, we can hire him, like what happened to me. I think it's good to stay at a job and work your way up, and then see how much more you can go up, and not just in like a food chain industry as where, you're GM, district manager, and then you're just overall, but try to see if you could go the office route,
That's awesome. No, that's a good point. Cool. Thank you so much for joining me. For letting me
no problem.
All these questions, for letting me bother you.
Nah, it's no bother.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.